Peloton is gifting you their best offer of the season. Get up to $600 off Peloton Bike, Bike Plus, or Tread packages. Choose the package that is right for you with accessories ranging from cycling shoes to non-slip grip dumbbells and more. Whether you have 10 minutes to spare for a strength class or 30 minutes for a running or cycling class, there's a workout that works for you with music that is truly iconic. So don't miss out on Peloton's best offer of the season. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more. All access membership separate. Offer ends December 6, 2022. Excludes Bike, Bike Plus, and Tread Basic. See additional terms at onepeloton.com.
From the creators of Relevant Magazine, this is the Relevant Podcast.
Isn't that what life's all about? Just trying to figure it out. I like to think that you can't fake love, or else we'd have it by now. Yeah.
What's up, everyone? It is Friday, June 22nd, 2018. You're listening to the Relevant Podcast, and I am your interim host, Jesse Carey. Cameron will be back with us next week, but in the meantime, it's me, and you're in for just a wild, dangerous ride. I suggest turning your earbuds 2 notches lower because things are going to get crazy. But I'm not on this wild ride.
Buckle up, kids.
I'm not on this wild ride alone. Joining me from Nashville, Tyler Huckabee.
Hey, everybody.
Also from Nashville, author, speaker, podcaster. Download That Sounds Fun as soon as you finish this podcast. I'm sure you subscribe already, but you should, even if you haven't already. Annie F. Downs, also from Nashville, with us here today.
That's right. Good morning, gents. Tyler, how jealous, like on a 1 to 10 scale, are you of my intro versus your intro?
I am not a multi-hyphenate, so
Yeah.
I can't pretend to be. Am I jealous? Sure, but I'm also
Maybe
reasonable.
you're just man enough. You're just man enough on your own without titles, and
I don't even know
I'm
what
still new to the family, even though I've been here half a year. They're still
would it
like,
be for
let's
me?
make sure people know that she like can be here. She can
Okay,
hang.
I'll do it again. Freshly haircutted Tyler Huckabee.
There you go.
And holding it down in the studio there in Orlando, dashing as always, Andre Henry.
Yo.
That's how you intro. That's how you intro. Hey, listen, everyone, we have a really great show coming up for you. As we alluded to on Wednesday, we have Matthew Soerens on, a brilliant guy and a very
Matthew.
passionate activist. He is the U.S. Director of Church Mobilization at World Relief. He's also the national coordinator at the Evangelical Immigration Table. He and Jenny Yang, who is also at World Relief, are the co-authors of a book, Welcoming the Stranger, which is a new edition is being released of that book soon. He's going to come on and talk about what's going on with the immigration debate and show us how Christians can help those kind of caught in the middle of it here. So coming up
Man, I can't
coming up
wait for
soon,
that.
Matthew Soerens. We're really excited about that. We got a lot to get to. We got slices. We got listener of the week. So I don't want to take too much time. But I was talking to Tyler between shows, and Tyler told me something interesting. I just want to mention for a minute. Tyler busted out the old skateboard this weekend.
Well,
We're kind of talking about the weekend.
Yes.
And Tyler just offhandedly mentioned that he went skateboarding this weekend. Tyler, what inspired that?
I would say 2 things. First of all, if we're going to get technical, longboarding.
Okay, that doesn't count, but continue.
Oh, you longboard.
Yeah, Annie, I'm 33 years old. Skateboarding is a young man's game. Longboarding is how you kind of age into
Leisurely
the like
cruising.
upper echelon. Like I'm a wizened older longboarder who the younger skateboarders can like look up to.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Annie, Andre, and I know the answer for Chandler because Chandler, I think back in the day,
Yeah.
was it you? And okay, so back in the day, this is
Me and Wes.
like 12 years ago. Okay, the Relevant had an office that had like a parking on the roof, and me, Chandler, and Wes Smalls. You remember? You're still buddies with Wes, right, Chandler?
Yep.
We would after work sometimes skateboard on the roof and do all of our tricks
y'all are
and stuff.
so cool.
Annie, Andre, were you
That's so
guys?
cool.
Did you guys skateboard at all growing up?
No, this is so sad. I didn't grow up with any brothers or even neighbors that were boys. And so I had one neighbor boy, but he was a lot older than us. And so we never, and I grew up, y'all don't know this about me. I kind of grew up on a farm. And so we didn't have sidewalks. So I never
wow,
skateboarded.
man.
I only rode bikes.
Andre, did you break out the skateboard ever when you were a kid?
I did a little bit.
For sure, Andre.
My stepbrother was a huge Tony Hawk fan, and he got my actual brother and I to at least try skateboarding around the neighborhood. I was never good at it, but I did try.
Yeah. It reminds me of things that like we stopped doing as adults for no apparent reason. Like just one day you're like, I can't skateboard anymore. I've hit a certain age where it's not, I just don't do it. And it's ridiculous. And I think we need to throw out that mentality. You know what's really fun? And if people would just have the courage to admit it, and they'd be lying if they said it's not. And it's like the perfect mode of transportation, and no one does it because they think it's uncool, is rollerblading. Like, let's be real with ourselves. Let's just ignore the social stigma around it for a minute. Okay?
Okay. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. My wife, Liz Riggs, bought a pair of roll. I was on the longboard. She was on the blades. She was blading next to me over the weekend. Did she look cool? I mean, she's beautiful. She always looks beautiful. She did not look cool, but she went faster than it's a great way to get around. They're super rad. They got some little purple piping on them. So they're pretty cool. And everybody who and you see the reactions of people looking at her on the rollerblades, because there is this sort of, it's jealousy.
It's judgment.
It's jealousy.
It's like hipster judgment, and then it instantly turns to jealousy. Because you know what? I like, once I've gotten older, I'll jog occasionally. And every time I jog now, you know what goes through my head? You know what would make this jog 1,000 times better? If there were wheels connected to my shoes right now. And the people that are rollerblading are living that dream. They're just blasting around the neighborhood, but you never see them anymore. You never see rollerblades.
You come to East Nashville, you keep an eye out for a beautiful young woman with blonde hair just flowing back in the breeze like Pocahontas, and she's like 30 miles an hour. That's
I was
my
wondering
wife,
where
Liz
y'all
Riggs.
were, if y'all were like on the Greenway or something, Tyler.
And Tyler, I guarantee you she was having more fun. Chandler, did you say you know a rollerblader?
Well, I was going to say over the weekend for my birthday party, me and friends went to a roller skating rink that had rollerblades as an option.
Oh.
So there was some people there with speed skates who were ripping around the roller skating rink, looking real cool.
Yeah, I don't understand. What's this social stigma about rollerblades about? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know where it originated,
question.
but they've just been like
In
rollerblades
skateboarding
have
culture, it's looked down upon a lot.
Interesting.
Skateboard. I think it started with like skateboarders kind of thinking like rollerbladers were kind of like posers back in the day. You know, like
Right.
exactly. Rollerblades have always just been very uncool.
Let me enter myself into the blading situation. Picture Annie on a Saturday, and she has wheels on her shoes.
Yes.
Is it cooler that the wheels are in a straight line, or is it cooler that they're in a square?
Straight line.
Depends on what else you're wearing.
Yeah, I mean, I that's what I think. I think that like regular roller skates look kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
As long as you dress the part, you're good.
See, I think regular roller skates are way more retro and cool. I would buy roller skates before I buy inline.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like a superior technology has emerged, and at that point, you're just doing it to it's like like
You're just
someone
doing it
riding
to work at Sonic.
Yeah, exactly. Which I've always wanted to roller skate around Sonic just to see if they hand me food. You know what I mean? Like, hey, space number 6. They're waiting on tater tots. Yeah. Yeah. But riding roller skates is the equivalent of riding like a penny farthing bike, like one of those bikes with the giant front wheels. Like it's funny at first, like, hey, I haven't seen one of those in a while. Look at that. You know, that's Taylor Hope. You know, it's a guy riding a big funny bike. Then you're like, why didn't you just get a real bike? If you're using the roller skates to get around and the exercise, just go with blades.
So the Eagles are the rollerblades of music, and roller skates are the penny farthers of transportation.
of cycling. The penny farthers of cycling.
I see.
You know, Jesse, this is a call back, but I think you taught me that word. in like 2006 on the podcast. I don't think I knew that word until I heard it on the Relevant podcast a million moons ago.
Penny farther? Is that the word?
For the large bikes with the giant wheel with no chain, where you just basically you're sitting on one giant wheel. It's a very dangerous cycle. It makes no sense. Like Leonardo da Vinci when he was like inventing it or cycling or whatever. It made me lose all respect for him or whoever invented it. The Wright brothers. I don't know. Whoever it was. Yeah. By the way, I was thinking about the Wright brothers recently. I don't know why I'm doing a bit here. Let's be objective here. Not that impressive. Not that impressive.
What's not impressive?
They get a lot of credit.
They get a lot of credit. They jumped off a sand dune and it lasted in the air like 8 seconds and they look like that's the future of aviation. Okay. I feel like if I was around at the time of the Wright brothers, okay, this is a bold statement, and someone said, "Hey, I bet you if I give you a year, you can't stay in the air, you can't jump off a dune and stay off the air for more than 8 seconds," I think I could probably do it. I'm just being for. I think anyone on this podcast could do it if they really wanted to. I'm throwing shade at the Wright brothers. They didn't do anything to me.
I don't want to be associated with this bet. Because I don't think that I could now, with the technology available to us, to fly over the ocean, could create something capable of lifting me off the ground for more than 2.5 seconds.
Andre,
I'm with you.
Andre's on my side with this. Andre's a man that holds multiple graduate school degrees, as we've talked about on other podcasts.
He seriously considers a PhD.
I have an honorary doctorate from ITT Tech, from ECPI, TV VCR repair, honorary. Andre, if someone made a bet, hey, you guys can take a year and make some contraption and jump off a sand dune and stay in the air longer than 10 seconds, you think we could do it?
I'm going to have to advise against it. That sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't even know you guys. Huh? I don't even know you guys anymore.
People do it with flight suits all the time, do they not? I mean, you've seen those videos on YouTube where someone's like flying down a mountain.
Hey,
you know
one thing that we just like really skimmed over, Chandler Strang, is it's your birthday this week?
It was on Saturday.
Happy birthday, pal.
You went, other than going to a roller skating rink, what'd you do?
That was what I did. Roller skating. Just,
did you plan that? Did you plan it?
I did. I sure did.
Did it? Hey, I've thought about, I ride by a roller skating rink sometimes and I always remember how much fun I had there when I was a kid. And now I think, man, it'd probably be really fun. But my concern would be like 10 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I gotta go.
We were there for an hour and that was the right amount of time, basically.
Yeah.
You skate around a little bit, you get some, terrible food and, have a good time.
But at the end of the hour, you're ready to go.
Yeah, very quickly.
If you're not like a great skater,
I always
then
fell
there's
in
not
love
much
with
to
a
do.
new fifth grade. When I was in 5th grade and we went for skate nights, I always fell in love with a new guy from my 5th grade class, and I always fell in love with a new kind of candy. Those were the two guarantees every time I went to the skating rink.
Hey, a lot of pressure happened at that age when the lights dimmed and it was couple skate time.
A lot
of pressure.
The feeling you would get in your stomach when you knew that song was coming, that it was the next one, and the couples jumped out there, the ones who had been dating since the beginning of 5th grade, they jumped out there. But then you and your crush sitting on, you're with the girls, he's with the dudes, what's going to happen? Halfway through the song, oh my gosh.
Here's the thing, I use couple skate as a cool down because I've been out there dominating the game of red light, green light.
Would you skate with a girl, or would you were just slowing down and getting the sweat to dry
I'm going
up?
to fill up my large, Coke, which I made a suicide. I said, hey, run it through the garden, tour Italy on that, every fountain drink in that thing. I got to sugar up here.
Oh my God.
That's what you tell them at Subway. When you want everything, you tell them run it through the garden. They know.
Yeah.
And you just put a little bit of everything. Said, run that fountain drink through the garden. I got to fuel up. I got another round of red light, green light. I got to go dominate. So I wasn't into the couple skate thing.
Little
I have my whole life worried about romance. All right, so
happy birthday, by the way, Cameron. That's what all that started. Happy birthday, buddy. I'm glad you're born.
Birthday, Chandler.
Thank you.
I hope this isn't too personal, Chandler, but how did couple skate go for you?
It went pretty well. I was there with the dates, so
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Did
That
you
makes
compete?
it a lot easier.
Did you compete in red light, green light?
that must have happened before we got there because unfortunately
You got ripped off. You got ripped off, friend. Hate to tell you. All right, so all that to say, that was a long intro. But we got a lot of great stuff coming up. But first, slices. All right, guys, time for slices. Let's see. I'm looking at 3 different faces. Who should start us off? Let's go with Annie F. Downs.
Okay, listen, for starters, this is the first week that this has ever happened to me, but someone sent me a slice on the internet and it was very funny. It's not what I'm doing today, but I have enjoyed that people are finding slices for me now because that just makes my life easier. So
yeah,
send them on. I got a little folder I store them away in for the rainy days where I can't find one. But I found one of my things that I'm great at is getting pulled over. I get pulled over above average. And I'm not even always speeding per se, but the other week I got pulled over because I turned onto the interstate at a red light. I didn't realize it was a no turn on red. And I saw the cop sitting next to me and I had been picking a new song on Spotify. And so I threw my phone in my passenger seat, stopped long enough for the light and then get on the interstate. Anyway, he pulls me over and he says, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And I was like, I put my phone down like an idiot. Why would I say that? I said I put my phone down. And he was like, no, you weren't supposed to turn at that light. But also, why was your phone in? No. I'm such an idiot. But so this guy, this state trooper pulls a man over and in New Jersey for having tinted windows. Mm-hmm. And it's a little bit of an older guy. And while he's going through the process, the older man, his name is Matthew Bailey. Matthew Bailey says to the policeman, Michael Patterson, says to the policeman, "Hey, I actually retired from a neighboring town police department." He was probably trying to get out of the ticket, right? He says, "I retired from a neighboring town." And policeman Michael Patterson says, "Well, I grew up there, actually. That is so funny. That's the town I grew up in." And he said what street he grew up on. Michael Bailey. Why do they have similar first names? Matthew Bailey. We'll just call him Bailey and Patterson. Bailey getting pulled over, Patterson, policeman. Ready? Bailey says, "When I was a policeman, I actually helped a mom who had her child at home 27 years ago. I was a rookie cop and I delivered a baby on that street."
Wow.
And actually, the baby's name was Michael. And the policeman says, "Dude, that was me.
No
You
way.
delivered me."
I'm still writing you a ticket because I'm ashamed that you grew up to be such a bad driver.
They literally took a picture together as they were getting pulled over, when the guy pulled him over, when Patterson pulled over Bailey. And then they went to his mom's house and took a picture together at his mom's house. But what are the chances he pulls over the guy who was a policeman 27 years ago, who was there when he was born and helped him be born?
I still do want to know if he got a ticket.
No, he said instead of giving him a ticket for his tinted windows, Patterson advised him to change the glass.
That ain't cool. That's nepotism, basically.
Favoritism.
You don't get special treatment. I'm glad I delivered you. But look, that doesn't make your windows less tinted. Okay, the law's the law.
Right.
Law's the law. Here's an equipment violation, $50.
Right. I love stories like that. That's so fun, isn't it? What are the chances that kind of stuff happens?
I next time I get pulled over, I'm going to look at the officer and be like, "You're not going to believe this, officer. I delivered you when you were born. I delivered you." And he's like, "I'm clearly older than." No, well, it's miraculous.
I know you're older than me.
It's miraculous.
It's that makes the story even wilder, even more reason not to give me a ticket.
All the more reason not to give me a ticket.
I traveled in time to deliver you, officer.
You think I'm driving fast now? You see how fast I was traveling through time to birth you.
Yeah, I have to get this DeLorean up to a certain speed in order to go back there. You don't want to prevent that, do you, officer?
I'm going to set the clock tower on fire. I'm warning you of that.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, well, that's a handy way to get out of a ticket. Tyler, what do you got for your slice, man?
All right, so my slice comes to us from the world of The Bachelorette, which is a world that I'm not super familiar. I'm not super familiar with. I've never actually seen a full episode. That's not true. I watched one episode, which was back when our mutual friend of the podcast, Brady Toops, was on it.
That's right.
But really have not been in it before or since.
Lucky for you, I've never missed a full episode of
okay, so
a Bachelor,
you maybe are aware of
Bachelorette,
this.
so I'm here for you. Yeah.
I want your hot take on this, and Jesse, I want your take on this too, because this is involved. This gets into your this is your wheelhouse, I think. For some recent relevant coverage. So apparently, anybody correct me if I'm wrong on any of these details, because I'm really out of my depth.
They're unimportant. They're unimportant. But go ahead.
but on The Bachelor right now, there's a bunch of guys vying for the hand of a young woman. Am I right so far on what's happening here?
Sounds about right.
And one of these, and these guys also have plenty of time to just kind of sit around and like talk about stuff, talk about life, and get to know each other a little bit. One of these gentlemen's name is Lincoln. I'm looking at a picture. He's a very handsome guy.
I'm so happy you're bringing this slice. I'm so happy about this.
And he's kind of is he kind of a fan favorite? Give me, before we get into it, what I'm going to talk about, Annie. Give me, what's the take on Lincoln so far?
He's great.
Like
he's
him?
British. People like him.
All right.
He's people think he's a great guy. He's a handsome guy. He's up until what you're about to tell us, everyone has thought him to be a sensible, reasonable human on the planet.
There is a red flag in this assessment of Lincoln. So we were looking at some cutscenes. We're looking at some just shots of the guys talking around. For some reason, the guys on The Bachelor are having a conversation about the world. Somebody briefly mentions that the world is round, and here comes Lincoln in with the hot tank. He says, "I personally think I just need a little more evidence that the Earth is round."
Whoa.
He says,
my goodness.
Yes.
A flat earther has infiltrated the flat earther
on The Bachelorette.
Oh,
so
when
the rest of the Bachelors, to their credit, say one of them brings up the fact that explorers had traveled around how explorers traveled around the world if the Earth was flat. Lincoln says, by just traveling in friction and gravity. Do you know why you can walk on the Earth and not slip off? Friction.
He just kept saying friction.
Okay.
He also said the Earth had corners, Jesse. Listen, y'all, when we are watching it, we have a group of girls that watch it, and as soon as he says it, I yell, "Oh my gosh, Lincoln is a flat earther. I can't believe he's a flat earther." And all the girls are like, that's a category of people.
That's
and I
a
was
thing.
like, y'all need to get about that relevant podcast, because we are big fans of flat earthers around there.
Okay, as you guys, I'm so glad that the flat earth movement has infiltrated reality TV, because they're already deep in the NBA. Like Kyrie Irvin, who is not only the premier point guard in the NBA, the best point guard in the league. He also spent a year at Duke University, one of the best schools in the entire world. And he won't identify himself as a flat earther, but he certainly doesn't believe with certainty that the Earth is round. Like
he's just not convinced. He's agnostic.
He is earth-shape agnostic. I actually had someone on Facebook the other day that I know. I wouldn't say I'm friends with, but they're an acquaintance that I know from church. Say that they've converted to being a flat earther. Like they have seen the evidence. They have reviewed the evidence.
It's in my heart. I want to do it. I want one opportunity that convinces me just to ask the question, not to totally convert.
Right.
I just want to ask the question, is there a chance, because I've never seen the globe from space, could we actually have a flat Earth? I don't know. I may be asking more questions than y'all.
Wait, hold on. Are you legitimately asking that, Annie?
Are you how close where are you on the scale?
Yeah, on the flat Earth scale.
The Earth is round. We all know the Earth is round. Other side of the scale, Earth is flat. Where do you fall
on the spectrum?
Where do you fall on the spectrum?
I'm still for sure if I'm still way farther down it's a yes or this is a simple question.
This is
distressing.
On a 1 to 10, how certain are you that the Earth is shaped like a ball? 1 to 10, and not a dinner plate.
That is a ball. 1 is a plate.
Well, also Lincoln, to slice back, Lincoln would tell you it's shaped like a Little Caesar's pizza. He would say it's shaped like a Little Caesar's pizza. That it's not
which, by the
plate.
way, that's the main dig on Little Caesars. Like, their cheese is delicious. There's no reason to cut that pizza like a square. What kind of sociopath? It's like Burger King. Those corners on the cheeseburgers are disgusting. Like, just cut it, just shape it like a natural patty, not like it was pressed in like a factory. Okay, that's a side point. I'm saying flat or round. How certain are you that's round?
10 is a ball. one is a plate or a Little Caesars.
Some piece of food that's square for no reason.
I mean, clearly, I'm going to go with like a 9.75. But before I knew y'all, I was a 10.
That's 0.25.
I was a 10 until I met y'all and we started talking about this, and now I'm at 9.75.
Wow.
So I think y'all would be wise to join me at 9.75 because none of y'all have been to space.
Yeah, but
oh my gosh!
But some people have and have taken pictures from there.
I'm listening to the experts.
It doesn't matter to me, Andre. It doesn't matter to me that some people have. None of us have. And so that's why I hear you. I've seen the pictures.
You're sounding like you're at 7 or 6 right now.
No.
You're sounding concerningly like that number is sliding down the scale. No, I've been working on a piece. I don't know. A little behind the curtain. We keep a lot of pieces in motion. Sometimes stuff gets published at different points. But I spent some time working on a piece about conspiracy theories that you may read in a future issue of our magazine. And to do so, I talked to some people who are experts in the field of the psychology of conspiracy theories, but I also kind of took a really deeper dive than I normally do. And I've listened to hours of podcasts that the whole premise of the podcast is to talk about the flat Earth movement. Like that's literally what they discuss is.
No, you will slide me down the scale. I got to stay away from that stuff.
We should say with absolute certainty the Earth is round and conventional models of gravity.
This podcast stands for the round Earth theory.
Yeah, okay.
I will say that. But the crazy thing.
Does the Bible say the Earth is round?
Yes.
But here's the thing. This is a whole nother topic. We can go down this rabbit hole if you guys want. I mean, we're already here. But like the other thing is like reading the Bible as a science textbook. Right? Like,
sure.
Like there's a lot of theories that people will deduce and make their conclusions about different scientific matters is what they interpret the Bible to say. But we have to remember, not all of the Bible was meant to be scientifically literal. I don't know what it's, I think people on both sides of the quote unquote debate will use scripture to kind of prop up their side about the shape of the earth. But the crazy thing is how prominent in culture something like the shape of the earth has become up for, like you said, a debate. Like when I first heard the flat earth theory, the flat earth movement years ago, I thought it was like the satanic temple, right? Like the Satanists that
they're like trolls.
Yeah, exactly. It's metaphorical.
Right.
It's metaphorical.
Right.
Like they're saying this not literally as a flat earth, but it's like it's like an esoteric commentary about the nature of reality and truth. But there are a lot of people who actually believe this now.
Yeah, a lot of people who believe in flat Earth have biblical reasons. Like my relatives, who I mentioned several times, that my relatives who think that the Earth is flat cite the Bible for doing so, and they also say those things like conspiracy theories and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know, like the
You're
idea.
You're gonna lose me if someone doesn't tie a rope around me and keep me up here on the top on the round globe theory.
Annie, just real quick, like just when we talk about like how we know things, right? Like none of us have been to space. Like there are also,
what I'm saying, there are also people who say slide.
There are also people who say that things like the Holocaust didn't happen, and so like we get on this.
Okay, well, listen.
Well, I mean, when we start talking,
but you weren't there.
That exactly though. Like it's the same. It's the same epistemology to say like, well, I wasn't there. Like I can't believe that something like that could happen. Is like, it's just not a good way. That's just not a good epistemology. And I keep using that word, and I know that everyone that's listening may not know that, but it's like the way that we know things isn't just by like firsthand experience. And so like, we all can't take a trip to the moon, although, side note, Elon Musk's company is making that possible if you want to like be a tourist and go to the moon and check it out for yourself. But we can, I think that we do have to I think that we do have to trust like what other people have said who have studied and researched in areas that we haven't, because otherwise we're going to have a culture where everyone thinks like the only things that are real are the things that I've seen or the things that I can verify individually, and it's just impossible to know
Andre's
things
really
that way.
Tying a rope around me, guys. I appreciate that.
Because I've never seen a germ, or I've never seen a cell, or I've never seen anything at a microscopic
I can lay awake at night and think about.
But like I have a firm understanding they exist. Like because if you're reliant on 100% on the only things that you've observed, then I mean your worldview is going to be incredibly limited because you can only observe and intake so much information with your own eyes. You know.
We need each other in order to know anything about the world. That just is what it is. In order for us to gain knowledge and to have knowledge and to live knowledgeably in the world, we need other people who have information that we don't have to impart that to us. And we can still verify that, in different ways, but we do that communally. We do that together.
Yeah.
Okay. But can you just get the scriptures that your family uses though for me, Andre? And I just would like to read.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. I can give you one because this is like a popular one, right?
A flat earthing scripture. This is, I mean, you've tied your rope around me. You're right. I can't see everything. I mean, I happily believe in God and fully 100% believe in God, and I've never seen him. And the scripture even says, even though you haven't seen him, you love him, right? I mean, I'm with you. This isn't a God thing. This is just an earth thing. Go ahead.
Okay, so this idea is an ancient cosmology, right? That basically we live, I don't know how deep I want to go to this, but basically like there's a dome that covers like a flat earth, right? And that comes from Genesis. That kind of comes from Genesis 1. Like that is the understanding of the way that the earth is made, is that there's like this solid sky that we call the firmament, where the stars are literally like placed in that solid structure, And so people often refer to Genesis 1 to talk about like the Bible says that the earth is flat.
But I was going to say, just as a side note to that point, like even like Answers in Genesis, who's an organization who the entire premises of their existence, whether, so we probably have listeners in our audience who, believe in what they call young earth creationism, is to analyze the book of Genesis as literally as possible and to try to deduce what it's saying scientifically about the nature of creation. And even the people who take the book of Genesis as literally as you can possibly take it, right? They have a museum where there's like a dinosaur with a saddle on it, right? Because they believe that man walked with dinosaurs, right?
They have a museum with a dinosaur with a saddle on it?
Yes. So, but even they don't believe the earth is flat. They believe in the expanses of space. And, they believe that gravity works the way that we understand it to work. And that, like we have 4 seasons because of how the earth rotates around the sun, not the other way around. I mean, you could go back, like you can find any biblical justification for any kind of scientific belief you want, going back to, putting Galileo on a heresy trial because he believed in a heliocentric model of the universe, not a geocentric. And the Catholic Church said, if you're suggesting that the earth revolves around the sun and that all of the universe doesn't revolve around the earth, which we know it's the opposite, they said you're a heretic because of the Bible. So if you're using the Bible as something that is the authority on science, not something that complements what we can observe and understand, then there's a chance you could run into some problems, as has happened throughout history.
And there are a lot of verses that talk about to the ends of the earth.
Right.
So that's taking that literally, it's instead of figuratively.
Right. And they talk about the corners of the earth in the Bible and things like that.
Or as far as the east is from the west, but again, like there's a poetic nature to the Bible. There's there are literary devices at play when the Bible is written. Not that it's some weird scientific code about a conspiracy that'll crop up in, thousands of years later.
Yeah, but two things, right? Like read any of those verses where those references are corners of the earth, ends of the earth, the firmament, anything. Read any of those scriptures and convince me that is actually the point of that passage, right?
It's that they're not using poetic license to make a larger point.
Right. You know what I mean? Like the scripture, none of those scriptures are actually about the cosmology of the earth. They're just assumptions that the writers have already made about how it exists. And then the other thing is that there are other scriptures that mention things about nature that we're not looking at and saying, well, it has to be like that. Like in Joshua, It says that the sun stood still, sun doesn't move, right? But we're not still arguing about a heliocentric versus a geocentric universe though. So like, we just can't. I just think that we're getting like when we start arguing about these things, and a lot of flat earthers are Christians and have religious reasons to argue for a flat earth. We're going down these tangents about what the text is actually trying to tell us and missing the actual point of what those passages are about to begin with.
And the other thing is like where it gets kind of like dangerous is like, well, if the underpinnings of like a basic understanding are at risk, then what about something like climate change or something that has like real consequence where it's like, well, we can prevent this and prevent people from suffering, but we have to have buy-in that our understanding of science is accurate, or else, things that like vaccines or something like that is at play where there's real human consequences if we, like undermined the roots of kind of our understanding of it,
Yeah.
Right.
Underneath this are underneath the argument of like what shape is the earth, are all of those things that you're talking about are like, most people I think are really arguing, can we trust the Bible? Underneath that, underneath that conversation about the shape of the earth is the Bible good enough to be trusted to be read for exactly what it says on the page, or are there nuances in interpretation? When we're arguing it from that angle.
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay. All right. Also, this is just to apologizing for not being as deep as y'all. Also, no one has ever shown me a picture of the corner of the earth, and they've shown me a lot of pictures of globes.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say, really. Let's be honest.
One of our relevant news videos has like footage from that car that Elon Musk launched into space, and you see the curvature of the earth. Like it's there.
Yeah. That's what I'm with you. The Bible is all true. Every word of the Bible is true. And pictures from space can be trusted. These are our two takeaways today. That's why I'm at 9.75, you guys. Just let me ask a 2.25 question.
I will say this. If it's another shape, I'm going to be disappointed if it's flat, because we could be something cool like an octagon or something.
A rhombus.
Or like one of those things that y'all's kids probably have that is shaped like an octagon, but it's also a globe that they put the different shapes in at all the different sides.
Oh yeah. It's like the little star,
like
the triangle, right?
Where we have sharp edges. Yeah, we have sharp edges that we could fall off, and we just
I
don't.
think we buried the lead a little here. Did he get a rose? Did this gentleman? Did the flat earther?
I don't think Annie would know better than me. I don't know.
Annie, is the flat earther still on the show?
He's
we
still on the
went way
show.
down that rabbit hole. I forgot even how we got there.
She doesn't know yet.
The Bachelorette does not know. No, it happened behind the scenes, so she doesn't know.
My gosh.
That he is a flat earther.
Oh, so she's not even she could marry this guy.
Yeah.
And still
yeah,
not.
she
And
could.
that'd be a rough wake up
Do
call.
we know
And
that
I'll tell
she's
you,
not
as
a flat earther?
As a woman in the dating scene, I have not recently thought to check and double check on where people are in flat earth.
Is it a deal breaker? Is it a deal breaker?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it a deal breaker to him? Then I have some questions. That's the real question.
Just bring up the question of like, hey, I'm thinking like an around the world cruise, and see what his reaction is.
Specifically,
I want to start here, go in a due west line, and come back here. Is that cool with you?
Is that good with you?
Due west, are you cool with that?
Is there any reason that we would not be able to do that as far as what you believe about Scripture and the planet?
All right, Andre, what do you got for your slice, man?
Okay. So my slice, I'm super excited about this, and I know that it's a really nerdy thing, but McDonald's is testing out an alternative to plastic straws. They've already done this in the UK. They've changed to paper straws.
Okay.
And now they haven't announced exactly what what the material they're going to use for their American stores are, but they're thinking, or some fast company thinks that there'll be paper straws as well. I get super excited about this because I get stressed out by plastic, because I know that there's like a huge plastic mound somewhere in the ocean where all of our plastic is going.
Yes.
And so I'm super excited about this because I try not to use plastic straws and things like that. So there it is. There's the story.
Do you know, I've stopped using plastic bags at the produce section in the grocery store because you don't have to. You can just put the things in your cart. And so I bring my own bags to the grocery store because I'm with you, Andre. I'm trying to fight the plastic. So I just put them straight in my cart and then in my bag.
I get all the plastic out of my house. I've shoved it all right down the storm drain and just not thinking about it. Like out of sight. No, it's just cool. Like when you read about how like detrimental, like there was some stat about like K-cups. And again, this is assuming that you believe the moon is where, you know, contemporary scientists believe it is. But like you could stack K-cups, all the K-cups used in like a year up. And I can't remember this. It's something insane. Like you could go to the moon and back like 3 times. And that plastic is impossible to break down because that like the K-cups are meant to, handle like super heated temperatures. And so if you throw a K-cup is a K-cup forever. Like it will never break down because of how it's made. Yeah. So
that's terrifying.
But I think
is a K-cup forever because they can't melt it. Oh, geez. This and the flat earth stuff's going to keep me up tonight for sure.
One of those is worth staying up.
One of those.
We just need to go to the edge of the earth and throw all the K-cups off.
That's
just
a
throw them
idea.
off the edge.
Just put it on a ship, set the navigation at east, and just not worry about
it. Send it
off.
off.
They say that you can't make it to the edge of the earth. It's too far
like I said,
away.
Just a big barge of garbage. Just send it. Just see you later.
Man, that's another way you're going to keep me tied to the round earth theory, because if we could, Americans for sure would have figured out how to dump garbage off the edge of the earth if there was an edge of the earth.
That was an option. Just to dump stuff off the side. We would have done it a long time ago.
Yeah, we're back to 9.8. That cost them 0.5. That cost the flat earthers 0.05.
That alone, I feel like, is good evidence. Like, if I could just do what I do at Crumbs on my kitchen table or at a fast food restaurant, which is just push them all right off the side and don't worry about it. Someone will clean that up. We would have figured that out by now.
Some Guardian of the Galaxy will collect all that all those K-cups when I throw
just
them out
falling
there.
on a pile of turtles that are lifting our planet up. Okay, so final slice here. This is a device.
Oh, good, you're bringing one. I was hoping you were.
Well, yeah. I'm still going to bring one. A device called the Sensor Wake. They recently did a Kickstarter campaign for this. It's sold out in 4 minutes. It's on back order now. So you have to sign up for a waiting list to get to this device. And it's an alarm clock that wakes you up by smell. All right. So it doesn't have I get sometimes I literally get anxiety when I hear a iPhone alarm going off because the main way I know it is from it waking me up out of a dead sleep. Like the iPhone alarm. And I've switched it and it doesn't matter. It's like horrible. So, this company has figured out a way that they think that they can wake people up more gently by using smells. So what you do is you have these little inserts that you put into a box, and when it's time to wake up, it'll smell like a latte, a pine forest, peppermint, tea, orange juice.
Latte's a nice idea.
Yeah. So
orange juice. That's my favorite drink.
Here's my only thing is, like, if I'm waking up and I smell latte and then I realize there's no latte, I would have just rather had the buzzer go. This sounds like a terrible idea. Why don't I just put a latte machine by my bed that's going to make me a latte, like on a timer? I don't get this idea. It's usually you're waking up, you start your day disappointed. So the Sensor Wake, I'm not a big fan, but evidently a lot of people are. So
I thought you were going to go that it smells
what would
bad.
You pick
like
to
it's
smell?
like a bad smell that you want to like stop it. You know what I mean? So you have to
like
hit
sulfur.
off.
Or diapers.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
what would you, if you could
fish.
pick any smell to wake up to, what would you pick? Like if it was a choose your own adventure, what smell would y'all pick?
I'll tell you what would get me out of bed. If it smells like smoke, like there's a fire, get up, everyone.
Oh my gosh,
that's
a great answer. If it's not, but then when you really have a fire and you're just slamming your telephone trying to turn off your alarm and your house is burning down.
It's a dangerous game you're playing. Dangerous game. But yeah,
this is obviously pulled from the great episode of The Office where Michael Scott tries to wake himself up with the smell of bacon by putting a George Foreman at the foot of his bed.
I like to wake up to the smell of bacon. So sue me.
Y'all are so good at keeping Office references in your brain. I'm always impressed by them.
It's a running cycle in my head
It's mostly what's in my head. It's
just projection on the screen.
It's ways to refute flat Earth and Office references. It's the entirety.
Well, good. I need both of those in my life pretty seriously. So keep them both coming.
All right. Well, that'll do it for Slices. Next up, our listener of the week.
And you're the boy of my dreams. It's not so hard to see.
listening to Claro and Danny L. Harrell. The song is Bombed, B-O-M-D, with periods in between. B-O-M-D. What a jam. What a jam.
I think it stands for Boy of My Dreams. That's in there.
Oh, look at that. Boy of My Dreams.
Did you say with periods in between?
Yeah. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Top Bunk with the song Figure It Out. Well, Matthew Soerens is the U.S. Director of Church Mobilization at World Relief. He's a national coordinator at the Evangelical Immigration Table, and he's the co-author, along with Jenny Yang, of the book Welcoming the Stranger. Welcoming the Stranger. A new edition of the book is actually launching soon. We recently spoke with Matthew about the book, the immigration situation, and how Christians can help. When we were able to talk to Matthew, he was actually in El Paso, Texas, where he was able to go right outside one of the large child detention centers there that have popped up on the border to tell us what the situation's like on the ground and give us perspective about the crisis. Here is our conversation with Matthew Soerens. So tell me a little bit when you went to try to get as close to these tent cities as possible, these temporary holding areas. What were people saying, and what were you able to see?
You know, there's a certain property that is owned by the county that we could be on, and then there's other property that is either owned by the federal government or is private property that we were not allowed onto, and we were not certainly allowed to go into the facility. And I don't mean to sound outraged by that. They have to protect children, and I wouldn't expect them to let just everyone who shows up to come into their facility. But you can see it in the distance. It's like the top of big white tents. And I was told actually by a friend who lives here in El Paso that you can see it a lot better on the Mexican side of the border, which is maybe intentional that, it's supposed to be a deterrent, at least according to some administration officials. I think people have focused a lot on what are the conditions inside, and that's important for sure. But to me, the most significant factor here that's very, very troubling is these are kids who, in many cases, there's kids in that facility who showed up without a parent, but there's also kids who showed up with their parents who were taken away from their parents because of this zero tolerance policy that is still happening. And I think that's important to understand, because even yesterday, as we were there, the president was signing an executive order. There's some positive things about that executive order, at least in its intentions, I think, to say let's stop separating families. But the underlying zero tolerance policy is still in place, which really leaves a lot of questions of how they're going to avoid separating families because of some existing court decrees that are there and existing law. So either they're going to have to change some laws or defy a court order or get the judge to change their mind. So there's just a lot of questions right now.
So just to kind of, and I know this, so we're talking on Thursday morning, and this will be up on Friday. So a lot, the way things are changing now, things could change between now and then. But as of now, the executive order basically says that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, the zero tolerance policy is still in place, so that if you are caught crossing the border illegally, you will be detained for an indefinite amount of time until a court date. But instead of being separated, they're going to detain families together. Is that essentially what this executive order says?
That's what the executive order says is their intention. It also acknowledges in the executive order that there has already been a consent decree, a decision from a judge, and this was negotiated back in the Clinton administration, that children cannot be detained for more than 20 days. And a judge clarified, Judge Gee, that you can't detain children even with their parents for more than 20 days. So what they're basically doing is telling that judge, you need to change your mind because we need to detain these families. And what they have not said yet, to anything I've read, and I've been following this pretty closely, is, well, what will happen when you hit those 20 days that a family's been detained and the courts say you have to not detain that child anymore? Do you take your child away from the parents at that point and keep the parents in detention? Do you release them with, let's say, an ankle bracelet or something like that, which is what would have happened in the past in many cases? To say, if we don't think you're a threat to anyone, there's no criminal history here, your only criminal violation might be this misdemeanor charge for improper entry, which in the past, before the zero tolerance policy, that would, they would use that charge in some cases under past administrations. But if you were here to request asylum and you were here with children, it would be very unlikely that you'd have been charged criminally. Just the same way that a police officer, if you're speeding 75 miles on the highway and you're 10 miles over, but he stops you and finds out that you're on your way to the emergency room with a child with a seizure in the back seat, most police officers are going to exercise discretion at that point. And in the same way, federal law enforcement has historically exercised discretion when people are coming to present the case for asylum, which U.S. law allows them to do. And that's the policy that is not changed at all in any way by this executive order. That zero tolerance policy from the Department of Justice is still in place.
I think for a lot of people who watched the press conference with Secretary Nielsen, she would, one point that she was making that I didn't really have a great understanding of. She was saying, we'll still accept people that are requesting asylum that want to come legally, but only through designated ports of entry. Where are those ports of entry, and is it even accessible to people who are coming from, let's say, Central America?
Yeah, so a port of entry is basically it's a border crossing, a designated border crossing. Like if you've ever been to San Diego and the border with Tijuana, it's a very large, structure surrounded by walls. Here in El Paso, there's one over a bridge over to Ciudad Juarez. There's few things to know that are really important. I mean, is it accessible to Central Americans? If they can get across all of Mexico, they can get to those ports of entry. But one of the challenges we've had, and there's been press reports of this, and actually I missed this because my flight was delayed, but some friends of mine here in El Paso told me yesterday morning they've witnessed this firsthand. I saw the video of it. There was a Guatemalan woman who basically walked onto the bridge at the port of entry to try to request asylum, and she's been doing this for several days, apparently. And the Border Patrol agents basically stop halfway off the bridge to inform her that they don't have the capacity to accept a claim for asylum at that moment. So if she can get onto U.S. soil, legally she has a right to request asylum, but they're preventing her from getting onto U.S. soil, where she could do so. Now, in this case yesterday, in part because there was a bunch of media there, after about an hour of her basically being blocked, they decided to let her come on and process her case. So, sometimes it works, but there's been a number of credible reports that they're not consistently allowing people to request asylum at ports of entry. And so then some people have done it is also, the law says you can request asylum basically at any point that you either present yourself or are apprehended by immigration officials. You have the right to request asylum. And so other people are availing themselves to that option, but then they're being charged criminally concurrently for improper entry.
When earlier this week, Press Secretary Sanders held a press conference, and responding to some of the outrage, she said, "Well, if and I'm paraphrasing, but along the lines of it, well, if Christians and religious leaders are upset about this, maybe they should just open their churches, and the churches can help." And for a lot of people, they want to do that. They want to help these families. They want to help these children. What are some ways that individuals and church communities can do what Press Secretary Sanders suggested?
Well, I would say for the particular children at the center of this debate, there's probably not much that churches can do because churches can't access those kids. They're in secure facilities. And again, there's good reasons that they're in secure facilities. You don't want just anyone, without a background check wandering in and helping people. But I think it's probably a little disingenuous to suggest, well, why don't you just go help them? Well, I can tell you there are many, many churches that have reached out to us that would love to help. And for those particular kids, I just had someone ask, can we do a drive of stuffed animals? And then I had to say, we don't have any way to get those stuffed animals to those children. But there are other asylum-seeking families, who were not detained or who are detained for 20 days, which is what the courts allow, and then are released in some cases. A friend of mine here in El Paso runs an organization called Ciudad Nueva, with like New City in Spanish, out of connected with an Anglican church here that is doing, really great work to help people when they are released from detention to connect. Sometimes it's getting on a bus and getting to their family in Alabama or North Carolina or wherever they need to go elsewhere in the country. So there's that sort of thing. The other thing that we've been doing at World Relief, we don't have a physical presence here on the border. We've got about 20, 25 offices around the country that do immigrant legal services. So we've just made this decision yesterday that we think we can do this, and we've been able to confirm that it would be helpful. We're sending some of our immigration attorneys from other parts of the country down to the border area to, whether that's helping process asylum, prepare people for asylum cases, or wherever they can be helpful. And that's something that local churches can help fund. It costs money to transport people and to get them down here. So people can find out about that at worldrelief.org as well. But there are some things that can be done. And then on a very high level, I mean, there's organizations like the Catholic Bishops and Bethany Christian Services that work with the Department of Health and Human Services to provide foster care for unaccompanied minors. That is very high level of commitment. So please don't just do this on a whim, but it is an incredible, way to serve those kids. I would be really clear. I mean, I have friends who work with Bethany and they've been outspoken in the media. They're going to find the very best foster families they can for these kids. But when they're not really coming unaccompanied, it's not that they're showing up without their parents, but they're being taken away from their parents or have been taken away from their parents. About 2,000 of those kids at this point. Those kids should be with their parents. They'll find them the best foster family possible, but they should be with their parents. And it's also really concerning because at this point, the executive order says we're going to stop separating families. I hope that's the case, though there's some legal questions. But what happens to the 2,000 kids who are currently in a facility? And there hasn't, at this point, been a plan that we've been able to hear. Again, I hope by the time you post this tomorrow, there might be, but I'm pretty skeptical that there's an orderly process here where to figure out, where those children are, where their parents are. And if their parents are still in detention, well, how are you can't, how do they plan to get them back to them unless they're going to move them to a family detention facility? Those are going to fill up pretty quickly. If they're going to detain people for longer than 20 days, which is going to put them in violation of a court decree anyway. So there's just a ton of questions. I mean, I was talking to a reporter yesterday who was trying to figure this out, and I think that's the place we're at right now, is trying to figure out what this looks like going forward.
Along the lines of how the Bible informs how Christians should think about issues like refugees and asylum and immigration, you have a new edition of a book that you co-authored with Jenny Yang, Welcoming the Stranger, coming out. Tell me a little bit about the book, what inspired it.
Yeah, so the book came out initially back in 2009. It's almost been 10 years, really, because I was actually pretty young at the time. I think I was 23. And was working as a legal counselor at World Relief and really, understanding immigration law for the first time in my life, but also really being challenged to look at what the Bible has to say on this topic, which I managed to grow up in a great church, learning the Bible and never really having been challenged to think about how it would apply to the topic of immigration. And as I really dug into that personally, I realized the Bible says a ton about this topic. There's so much in the scriptures that relate to the immigrant. There's 92 references in the Old Testament to the Hebrew word ger, which is the word for a foreigner, a resident alien, an immigrant. So we wrote this book back in 2009, my colleague Jenny and I, and we decided a few months ago, what, so much has changed, some for better, some for worse, but we just basically really almost entirely rewrote the book. I'd say more than half of it is new because the policy dynamics have certainly changed, the political dynamics. Unfortunately, at this moment, it's gotten a lot harder for immigrants, and that's true for those who are undocumented, who are here unlawfully. It's also true for those who are lawfully present or for those trying to come lawfully. There's a lot of efforts to restrict legal migration right now. In fact, we're seeing a vote in the House of Representatives today to cut legal migration by about 40%. On the other hand, we've seen a lot of positive movement, from my view, in the church. It was hard to find any, especially evangelical churches. The Catholic churches has always been really outspoken. Mainline Protestants have done more on this. But 10 years ago, it was pretty difficult to find an evangelical Christian who anyone had heard of, who had an opinion on immigration that they were willing to share publicly. And that's changed really dramatically in 10 years. Leadership of most major denominations have spoken out on this. Lots of Christian college presidents and seminary presidents and, authors and pastors of very large churches have said this is an important issue. It's important to God's heart. We find that in Scripture. It's also an issue that's affecting the body of Christ. The fastest growth in American evangelicalism, frankly, maybe the only growth at a net level, is happening in immigrant communities and among their children, the second generation as well. And that's something to celebrate, but also it means that if one part of the body is suffering, every part suffers with it. And so the whole of the church needs to care about what's happening to immigrants on an individual level and on a structural level with immigration policy.
That was Matthew Soerens. Next up, our listener of the week.
Considering a degree in counseling? Asbury Theological Seminary offers a K-CREP accredited Master's of Arts in Mental Health Counseling degree. At Asbury Seminary, you can choose from one of 3 Masters of Arts in Counseling degrees in Marriage and Family, Pastoral Care, and Mental Health Counseling, all from a Christian worldview. There's still time to apply for this fall at asburyseminary.edu or call 844-GOTOATS. That's 844-GO-TO-ATS.
You're listening to Jasper Bones. The song is I Can't Stay. All right, so this week's Listener of the Week is another one that Mark has found scouring Twitter for the most interesting people in the world. And this is an international caller. We're actually taking this call all the way from South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Jan Louis. Jan Louis, did I pronounce that right?
That's perfect, JC. Well done. Hello, guys. It's nice to meet you. It feels like I know you all.
Yeah,
I love this so much. This is our first time ever having an international friend on. I love it so much.
Jan Louis, tell us what you do there in South Africa.
Yeah, I'm in South Africa at the moment. I'm in Johannesburg, so it's like 6 p.m. in the evening here. So I'm at work. I should be at home, but I'm still at work, unfortunately. But at least I've got you guys to take my mind off that right now.
What kind of work are we currently distracting you from?
Okay, so I'm a mechanical engineer, but I'm currently working as a management consultant in the mining industry. So there's a lot of traveling to and from different mines, and podcast is one of my favorite ways to cope with that. I love the 2 episodes per week format. It just doubles the fun for me.
Good. We distract you more often than we used to. I'm proud of that.
We're distracting you from 2, what it sounds like, multiple very important jobs that you're doing. We're glad.
That's
right. That's about right. Yeah, JC.
So you gave us 3 interesting facts about you. I'm going to read them one by one, and I want to hear a little bit of the story behind this. You were in, it says, boarding school / hostel / university residence for 16 years from ages 6 to 22. I think a lot of us in the U.S. don't really have my only context for something like this, is like a Hogwarts. Tell us about what this is really like.
Yeah, it's almost like that. But my parents live on a farm, which is about 20 miles. I'm going to use miles for the U.S. listeners. I'm a kilometer guy, but I'm going to use miles for you guys. So they live about 20 miles from the nearest small town. So since grade 1, hostel was a given. And then I went to high school in a city, which was about 80 miles away from the farm. And I only ever went home on weekends. And then res was in a town 700 miles away from my childhood home. So that was also a given that I had to be in res for that.
Was it a positive experience? Did you like it? Did you cause lots of shenanigans in the dorms?
Yeah, always. Definitely. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. You really have to learn to be independent from a very young age. And the stories about res is very similar to the stories that you always tell, Jesse, about your experiences at Oral Roberts. So similar stuff to that always happened. Lots of shenanigans, lots of good fun. The second story is actually related to that. So if you can ask me about the second fact, then I can give you probably one of my best stories.
Well, let's go there right now. You once, this is what really caught my eye, by the way. You once transported 2 crocodiles across South Africa in a tiny hatchback car. I want to know how the car ride went, but also how did you find yourself in that predicament?
Okay, so in the res at varsity, we had like a massive quad. And in the quad, we always had all sorts of different animals like dogs and cats and goats and ducks and chickens and rabbits, and it was like a regular zoo. And also, obviously, the guys in res were also like a bunch of animals. So as part of our beginning of the year celebrations, we have something called the Quad Naval, which is like a carnival in the quad. And for that, we decided it would be a good idea to organize some interesting mascots. And somehow, some guys from Pretoria, which is in the north of the country, organized 2 crocodiles from a crocodile farm. And I was in the city at the time, and they told me to transport the 2 guys. Luckily, they were small crocodiles, so I had to make the story sound a bit better than it actually is. But it was 2 small crocodiles, about the size of a foot. and we transported them in a cool box across the country. And they lived in the quad for the duration of the quad Naval. And they were a big hit with the ladies, of course. And they really
of course. One lady doesn't like a foot-sized crocodile that's been transported across the country. I have a question. When you're transporting crocodiles, the only thing I know to do from watching, R.I.P. Steve Irwin and all of the crocodile shows that are on TV is that you got to put electrical tape around their mouth. Did you have their mouths taped closed, or how did you prevent yourself from being attacked by the crocodiles during this road trip?
No, this is Africa, man. We are hard here, so we just use our bare hands. So yeah, there was nothing, no protection. We don't scare.
No, you just barehanded it? No.
This story just got a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, it sounds like you have a lot of experience with dangerous wildlife, because your final fact was you were almost eaten by lions in the desert. What happened?
What?
Why were you in the desert with lions, and how did you make it out alive?
Okay, so this is another varsity shenanigans story. So in the next year, in 2010, back when it was Soccer World Cup time in South Africa, our friend group decided to escape from the madness of the vuvuzelas and borrow our parents' 4x4s to track across the Kalahari in a self-sustaining trip, So that's what happened there. And it being Africa, we managed to refuel one of the cars in one of the small villages with some contaminated fuel. And the car decided to break down in the middle of the desert just after sunset.
Oh no!
That's like the start of a bad movie.
Yeah,
right.
And of course you're not allowed to travel after sunset for reasons that will become apparent. So we had to get out of the car to turn it around. It's in a jeep track, deep sand, very difficult to move the car. But we managed to turn it around just as the last daylight was over the desert, and we towed it back to the gate. And our friends came with the other car to take us back to the campsite. And then on our way back, we found a female lion and a number of juveniles. I think it was 2 or 3 young lions, like teenagers, like Simba, during that transition where he's like a juvenile lion. And they were smelling the tire tracks and sort of hanging around there, where we minutes earlier were struggling to turn the car around to tow it to the gate. That was amazing.
That's crazy.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh!
It sounds like if things don't. It sounds like you have a pretty good gig going, and you're a very educated person working in very important fields. But if you don't, I would totally watch a wildlife show that you star in, because it sounds like you almost die every episode, and that would make for a very wildlife episode.
Well, if I have my friends with me, I will be 100% keen to have a show like that.
Wait, also, can we pause? Can I pause and ask a question? Because he's the first man on this show to bring up something I deeply care about, which is the World Cup. Who is your team you are cheering for in the World Cup right now?
So I don't know a lot about soccer, and unfortunately, I'm more of a rugby man. But and to illustrate that fact, when people ask me that question, I asked is the Netherlands playing? So I thought the Netherlands was in the World Cup, but they're unfortunately not. So my second team would have to be. It's a difficult one. Probably Germany, because they're the defending champs and I like winning. But
that's a great answer. Okay, thank you. That's all I needed. I just needed someone to talk soccer with me here, and I made you do it. Thank you.
Jan Louis, we appreciate you calling all the way from South Africa. We won't distract you from your work any longer, but thanks for calling, and stay safe out there from man-eating predators.
Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, so if you want to be the listener of the week, you got to top that. You got to top almost getting eaten by lions and crocodiles. But hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast. We're interested to hear your stories, and hey, maybe we'll even have you on the show during work hours, so we can distract you from what we're going to assume is a very important
from anywhere in the world,
job critical project that you are. Yeah, it literally. Any corner of this saucer plate floating through.
Any edge. We can call you from any edge. Whatever edge you're on, we'll call you.
Well, hey, listen, I want to thank Matthew Soerens for letting us talk to him today and helping to kind of inform how we think about the important issues happening right now. The book is called Welcoming the Stranger. He co-wrote it with Jenny Yang. Should definitely check it out. Also, you can follow him at Twitter. I've been following him particularly recently. A lot of great information about kind of some up-to-date things with immigration policy and the immigration debate. It's at Matthew Soerens. So Matthew, thanks for being on the show. Also, hey, subscribe to the new issue. Subscribe to Relevant now. You can go to relevantmagazine.com and you'll get the new issue. We also have a really exciting one coming up. I'm not going to give too much away because we're going to do a new magazine issue coming up pretty soon. So I'll wait till then to talk about what's actually in it. But I will say this. Wait. You're not going to want to miss it. You are going to want to subscribe now. It's a deal of a lifetime.
Okay.
Get a subscription for you and get a subscription for like 5 people in your life that you love. Like pick the 5 people you love the most, not the 6, the 5 most that you love. Yeah. Throw in the 6. Get them subscriptions too while you're there. Hey, check us out. Review us in Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We always like hearing your feedback. Well, hey, this is another one of the books. Cameron will be back next week. So if this has been barely listenable for you, stick with us. Stick with us because it'll be back to normal next week.
If Cameron is the reason you come around here, he'll be back.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks you guys for hanging in there. I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Andre Henry.
I'm Chandler Strang.
I'm Tyler Huckabee.
And I'm Annie F. Downs.
All right, everyone, have a good weekend. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Isn't that what life's all about? Just trying to figure it out. I like to think that you can't fake love, or else we'd have it by now. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Relevant Podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Check out other shows from the Relevant Podcast Network in the podcast section at relevantmagazine.com. And while you're there, browse exclusive podcast merchandise at our online store. Make sure to subscribe to Relevant Magazine. Info is available at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
So why does this happen every time? Isn't that what life's all about? Just trying to figure it out. I like to think that you can't fake love, or else we'd have it by now.
I use Couple Skate as a cool down because I've been out there dominating a game of red light, green light.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care. Go to Dutch.com to get vet care that is always there for just $92 a year.